Hey viewers, welcome to the show today. Welcome to If You Asked Jimmy. This is gonna be an explosive edition with a guest in the house that is definitely going to take us there. It will not be nice to say he will blow our minds off because we don't want our minds to be blown off. But I've come with a person who is so loaded and who is vast, very versatile, very, very, very deep. Thank you for joining, wherever you're joining from, wherever your continent is, America, Africa, Asia, Australia, everywhere. So today we are having Dr. Leke Oshiyemi as our guest on If You Ask Jimmy. On behalf of our viewers, I say welcome, Dr. Leke.
Thank you very much for having me.
Very well. So let me give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, Dr. Leke.
All right, thank you very much, our viewers. Thank you very much. My brother, I don't even know how to introduce you now. I mean, we go really way back, way back, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to be here on your platform, If You Ask Jimmy. By the way, my name is Leke Oshiyemi. Some people call me Dr. Leke Oshiyemi, and it's just fine. I'm a human capital strategist. In the last 25 years, wow, in the last 25 years, I've been in the corporate environment. I've worked with the likes of Nigerian breweries, worked with the likes of Honeywell flour mills, worked with the likes of FITC Nigeria, and so on and so forth. Today, I'm the lead consultant, CEO, managing director, if you like, of Rekrut Consulting. Rekrut Consulting is a human capital development company. It's a workforce solution company. What we do is we help business. What we say, our tagline is, we empower your people, we support your business. For your business to succeed, you need people. And human capital is the most important resource you need in an organization. If you put money down on its own, it's not going to do anything. But if you bring in managers, you're bringing in factory workers, you're bringing people who have that capacity, they can transform your other resources. If you bring in machines, if you bring in earth, which is agriculture, they transform it for you, and that is what I do.
Wow. Yeah, we are a consultant, and what do we call management professional, management consultant as well. And okay. So it looks like there's a delay on the video from my monitor, so I don't want that to distract me. And we're very glad to have you on the show, Dr. Leke. It's a privilege because I know how busy you are. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. So because you are in that consulting field, can we kick it off from there? Yeah, there's something that usually comes to my mind about then and now. I have a stint also in HR, and in the space where I am right now, I am in the people role. So I want to ask you, how is it this, if you compare now and then in the workplace domain, how is it in Nigeria? I've been out of Nigeria for quite a while. So I remember those days that we have to take our paper application to places, we have to send them by post and do all those kind of manual things. Just tell us your experience when you compare that domain, that recruitment domain, that HR domain in Nigeria then and Nigeria now, or in our world currently.
Well, I think a lot has changed in terms of how people are managed, or the methodology of managing people, or even the workplace generally. I was discussing with some friends recently, look, what we saw when we were coming into the workplace, management trainees who were coming in fresh from the university. I finished from Olabiso Northern University, and also went from a master's University of Lagos, and yada, so many other campuses. We got into the place of work. It was manual. There was paper-based. A lot of people that were managers were daddies with big stomach, that were managers. And if you do any nonsense, they will give you query. A lot has changed from that time to what we currently have. We have the Gen Zs coming in, we have technology, we have AI. I was delivering a lecture to some young people this morning. And I said, look, you guys are so blessed. In my time, we didn't have mentors. Your mentors were abroad. There were books that we were reading. There was no YouTube. There was no social media in our time. There was no internet when I went to my first degree. All right. So internet is a leveler. Technology is a leveler. Social media is a leveler. This is a global village now. Our people have a lot of resources in terms of people, in terms of books, in terms of knowledge. And in fact, there's something we have abundantly today. It is knowledge. And it is helping to change the landscape of things.
So let me interrupt you a bit. Because we see how the Gen Zs and the whatever the gens are, the way the society is right now. What's your experience with the generation this new generation? Because they are going to be the crux of the workforce, as it were. So tell me about it.
Absolutely. That's a fascinating question. I think we're seeing an evolution in our place of work. When I got into work, I met baby boomers. I am Generation X. I mean, if we're born in 1975 plus minus, and then we're now having those who are millennials, we're having Gen Zs, we're having, even we call them the Alpha, Generation Alpha. They are coming to the place of work. Starting from 2025, there's a new generation that is coming that called the Beta Alpha generation. Wonderful. They will be born right from this year. In the next 25 years, they're going to come into the place of work. These people have not been raised with they were raised in front of social media. They were raised by robots will raise them. You know, AI will raise them. And these are coming with their different challenges. But this is my view. Every generation has its good side and its bad side. Even from when we had the baby boomers, we had the great generations. These were the people that set up America, that set up the Europe that we know today, that set up the Africas, the Kwame Nkrumahs of this world. As great as those generations were, they also had their downsides. My generation, Generation X, we have our great sides. We were dedicated. We served 35 years, 25 years in the same company. We didn't jump that much. But hey, we also have our different sides to our generation. So I said that to say this, that each generation, they will bring in that technology. Look at what is happening in America, the Dodge group that is set up by Elon Musk. The strong top five people who are employed in that department to run United States of America, the youngest of them is 19 years old.
Excuse me.
The youngest of them to run the civil service of the United States of America. The oldest of them is 25, 23, 20, 19. So what are we saying? So that's the reality of today and tomorrow.
Wow, fantastic. Let me ask one more question in that area before we move to other things. Is it fun working with them? Is it like we are the one that are just pent up, like, okay, you know, each generation sees themselves as better than the next? Get a kind of orientation and mentality. When you look at the orientation of these young ones and the way, you know, they actually are a lot different, how is it in the workplace?
It's the same thing. You've said it. My father's generation will usually tell me, you guys are rude. You guys were not well trained. The same thing my manager said to me. And the same thing I'm saying to people that are coming now. You guys are rude. You guys are lazy. And each generation will feel they are better than the next. That is what research has shown. However, I keep emphasizing this. My daughter is 25 years old. And I look at her, the way her behavior at home. And I said, look, this is how she's going to behave at work. There were some things that I could not tell my father, Daddy, you are wrong. Doctor, I could not say that to my dad. But guess what? They will say that to their bosses at work.
Wow. I wanted to throw in a joke there. I know we are upset, but that's grandpa knocking. Because if you have a 25
Absolutely.
we should be expecting
Absolutely.
very soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a proud dad there. And I know you are doing a great job of that. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'll take you here and there, and then so let's go to the aspect of Japa, because you are in the HR domain, not really strictly HR. You are a management consultant with a lot of spread, and I want to ask you, with the situation of Nigeria in recent times, where a lot of our heads are migrating out of the country. Recently, we did have some system collapse in some banks. They are struggling a lot over time with maintaining their digital infrastructure. And people are tracing that, they are attributing that to the migration, this Japa thing that a lot of our bests are living. Is that true? And what do you have to say in that aspect?
I think we should not overly press the issue of Japa. Japa has always been with us. I mean, growing up as a child, I know people whose daddies and mummies were abroad. I know people who left Nigeria for UK, for US. So it's not new. The only thing we are seeing, I call it noisome pestilence, is the fact that social media is an amplifier. It's just making it louder than it was before. So there is a downside to this. People are leaving. Key people are leaving. Sometimes I joke with my clients to say, look, if you want to hire, the best brains have left Nigeria. Wow. The second class are not affordable to you because they are with Nigerian brains, they are with Chevron. So the third class is who you can hire. I joke about this. But guess what? It's not always true. It's not always true. Some people have left Nigeria, but this is what I believe, and I believe it with all of my heart. There will be a Japada. We are seeing it in China right now. I saw a report by a government agent said, look, 80 to 90% of the brain people that are putting together the so-called technology in America are from China. And guess who developed DeepSeek? They are Chinese people that are returning back to China. Some of the best doctors that we have in Lagos are people who studied in Harvard that have come back to Nigeria to set up. Technology. So this is what my prophecy is. Some people will come back after a while, maybe because of the cold or whatever happens, maybe I don't know, maybe for love of the country, they will bring back the brain to Nigeria. I totally believe that.
Awesome. With all of my heart. Awesome. I would like to ask that question again. When some banks were having some problems with their, with their softwares, banking softwares and other things, is it true, as an HR expert, is it true that the exodus of the good hands and the experienced and the trained hands who are familiar with those stuffs, the backbone, the human backbone of those, is it true that their exits contributed to that, or it could have been a different thing entirely, from the HR perspective?
I will not doubt that is true. Because again, I learned of a particular department where the head of department relocated to Canada and he called his boys, guys, meet me in Canada, and everybody left for Canada. So you can imagine what happens to a department where there is no successor. Everybody that knew where all the dead bodies were buried in the system have already left the system. So what you expect is a collapse of the system. So that happened a lot. Thank God that did not happen in the medical sector, for all our doctors to have left, but it impacted IT. And the reason is because IT is a global business, just like so many other professions, and they were in high need. This is in the age of AI. They were looking for cloud engineers. A lot of them were doing double work. They were working from home. It was COVID-19 that exposed everybody. Some people were doing, I know a particular tech guy that was working for Microsoft, working for Amazon at the same time. But it got to a point after COVID-19, they were required to come to those countries, so they relocated. And if they relocated, it came with heavy package that you have to be crazy to reject. You really have to be crazy to reject some serious double-digit dollars. So that was what happened, but not in all cases.
Fine.